motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now fuck him, fuck that. Because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Haters gonna hate, and ain'ters gonna ain't.
What's good? What's good, family? Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Just want to send a special shout out to all of our Facebook Live users. Make sure y'all continue to follow the Facebook page by clicking the like button. Also, you can follow us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Also, follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, and also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. This is the homie right here, Trey Frazier. That man right there is Maestro Styles.
Yes, sir.
What up, man? How we feeling today?
Hey, man. Let's just get to the sports, man.
Yeah, let's get to it, man. But I want to get into all these games, but I got to talk about these stupid fans first, man. This show is dedicated to stupid fans doing stupid things at these games in the past week. So Russell Westbrook had to have popcorn poured all over him as he was leaving the floor in Philly. And then you had John Morant's dad in Utah being told that, you know, he could be wound up and, you know, play you like a toy and all this stuff. You had last night at the Wizards game, fan tried to run on the court. Well, he didn't try. He ran on the court.
Which was the least egregious, by the way.
Of course. But, you know, security was right there. Gave him the football tackle like he played for the Washington football team and all that. And then you had Emmanuel Quickly had a beer dumped on him. Trey Young was spat on at the Knicks game. And I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Oh, Kyrie. That probably was the more egregious one, with the water bottle thrown at him as he was leaving the Celtics court. You know, after he had dropped like 40 on them niggas up in Boston. So, look, man, I'll leave the floor to you, man, on this one, and I'll.
All those individual fans are some trifling ass motherfuckers that hopefully got not only kicked out of those respective stadiums for the foreseeable future. I know some of them got arrested. Really, all of them should have been arrested. And hey, man, look, these people ain't been outside in 18 months, and y'all are proving that maybe some of y'all need to go back in the house and think about it for a little bit, and think about the privilege that y'all had to be at a sporting event after being in the house for over a year. Because the fact that y'all would be in the house for so long due to this pandemic, then come outside and do some of the stupid shit that y'all doing, it's a sense of entitlement. It's a sense of not being self-aware of the privilege that you have to even be at them games. All y'all should have been arrested. I know some of them were. And all of them should have definitely been banned from their respective stadiums.
Specifically the dude with the Garnett jersey. Specifically that dude.
All of them, in my book, should be outside of the Wizards fan who ran out on the court. All of them should be arrested. All of them should have been arrested and because they was looking to do harm, or they was
And
looking
really,
to do
with the exception of the fan at Utah, because the fan at Utah, all he did was just say something verbally to Ja Morant's father in the stands. But I think, but I'm
don't
in
say nothing
agreement
to my
with you,
father.
huh? But he
Yeah,
shouldn't
but
be.
don't.
But
But
he shouldn't be arrested for that. I agree with you. Don't say
oh,
nothing to
okay,
him.
okay,
But you're saying all of them should be arrested, and I'm
yeah, okay,
saying
right.
specifically the guy in the Garnett jersey in Boston, specifically the dude at MSG that spat on Trey Young, the dude that threw the beer at Emmanuel Quickly, and the dude in Philly that threw the popcorn on Russell Westbrook. Specifically, anybody that threw anything at anybody should be
Okay,
arrested. And I
okay,
agree with you about the fan that ran out
okay.
on the court last night. Yeah, I mean, he was handled. I mean, we clearly saw, him get tackled. He was handled. And then as far as the fan in Utah, that was just a verbal thing. But I'm with you. Hey, don't talk to my pops like that. But I'm not sure that warranted, him being arrested,
Being
because
arrested, sure.
fans will say anything,
Well, I
So, but
mean,
yeah, I'm with you though. I'm with you, man.
I mean, I guess you're right in the court of law. You got a right to talk, but
Mm-hmm.
don't say that to my father, bro. Because if I see you saying something to my father, I mean, I get it, and you're right. He shouldn't be arrested for that. But Ja Morant gonna be wrong if he see him talking spicy to his father, and he walk up off the court and put hands on the dude.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And
And
this ain't
any
the
of the other
first time
players.
Utah got accused, and this ain't the first time Utah fans been saying something spicy to players' parents.
Yeah,
So,
Westbrook had an incident a couple of years ago
oh,
there,
right. I'm sorry. It wasn't that way.
too.
It was Westbrook specifically, not Westbrook
Yep,
parents. But yeah, yeah, yeah,
yep.
yeah. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, all of y'all that's in these stadiums acting crazy. Y'all need to calm the fuck down and be thankful that y'all are even in stadiums allowed to watch sporting events. Like y'all going a little bit too crazy. Y'all need to calm down. Get some perspective in your life.
So forgive me if I'm gonna think this through too far, but I just got to thinking earlier today, and you alluded to it when you were talking earlier about it's a pandemic and everybody is allowed back in the stands. All these stadiums are filled up almost, it seems like 100% capacity at most of these arenas. And I got to tell you, man, I feel like these players are under attack. And I don't just mean that in a general sense. I mean that in a sense that no fans have been able to go to these games in the last few months. And I want to point out what's been going on during those past few months. We've had George Floyd, we've had Breonna Taylor, we've had Black Lives Matter, and we've had all these players and messages being brought out. I mean, we got decals on helmets, just to, and I'm talking kind of football with the helmet part, but we've had all kinds of messages on basketball courts. We've had all kinds of things that, every time you turned on a game, they were always talking about, social injustice, Black Lives Matter, every single thing that had to do with George Floyd and, all the civil unrest that's happened during the pandemic. It seems to me like these fans couldn't wait to get, to be up in front, or at least be a little bit closer to these players, to get back into the stands at these games and just start wilding out. Like, I feel like there's a connection between what these players did during the bubble, particularly, all the messages about social injustice, and actually the Milwaukee Bucks, and followed by a few other teams, boycotted games. So for me, it kind of feels like, and I don't know how you feel about this, Maestro, but for me, it kind of feels like the players are under attack, and it seems like these fans have been allowed back into these stands finally. Like, hey, this seems like this is some kind of a message being sent here with the water bottle, the popcorn, the spitting, the verbal abuse in the stands. It seems like this is a form of payback for the messages that these black athletes have put out to the forefront during the pandemic. It's just that these fans were unable to, express themselves to these players until all these buildings let everybody back in. I don't know how I feel, but I get the sense that that's what's going on, and I might be reaching.
Yeah, I mean, I was quiet because I wanted you to finish your thought before I just was like, yeah, you reaching. I want you to get your thought out. Yeah, you reach. I think you're reaching. I mean, when I think about the players who have been attacked, the only one who's been noticeably verbal is Kyrie Irving, and everybody else. I'll be honest, everything else just seems like ignorant fans that got too riled up at a sporting event. None of this other stuff in my mind. Yeah. I mean, like Ja Morant hasn't been noticeably verbal or vocal about social injustice. I don't know that about Quigley or really or
Trey Young.
Westbrook. Or Trey, yeah, like I don't know that for any of these. I don't know those guys to be noticeably vocal in any of these incidents. So I mean, I think you might be reaching a little bit on that one. I think it's the fans being stupid that ain't been outside. When you ain't been out, when not necessarily outside, but the parallels, like when you ain't been outside and you getting that opportunity to go out. I guess the closest relatable parallel that would probably work for you is like that moment when we all get to kick it, no, wives and significant others, and we have a night to just, chop it up, be homies, and have homie talk and all those types of things. You might, I'm not saying that you would go as far as the, spitting at people and, but you're a little looser because you happy to be out. You know what I'm saying?
You're happy to be out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I liken it to just people overreacting and being outside. Maybe taking a little extra beer, drinking a little extra beer than they would have if had they been going to all these games all year, that type of thing. But so while it's not acceptable and some rules need to be, some immediate addendums and rules need to be put into place to kind of slow this down, I do really just attribute it to niggas not being outside. Niggas just like, all right, we outside, we out here, we here now, and we gonna have fun. We gonna talk a little extra trash. We gonna, we rooting for our team. We want our team to win, so we gonna do something to throw the other player off. I really just think it's that. I'm mad that I lost, that my home team lost. Or, I think it's more that type of stuff than and Kyrie kind of, and in Kyrie Irving's instance, he kind of spoke this into existence, spoke this him being fucked with into existence. I get that he feels like it might be racial and it might be in his instance, but he kind of spoke this into existence in the press leading up to Brooklyn going to Boston. So I mean, I'm not gonna say he deserved it because that's just the far from the truth. But I mean, it would seem if you was a spiritual person that maybe he's spoken into existence.
Yeah,
and not his fault, and not his fault, and not his fault in no stretch of the imagination. Let me be clear about that because you could feel that's supposed to happen. Boston fans should know better. People should know better. So
agree, and in particularly that city, there's a history of fans being racist or saying something racist, and I'm surprised that nobody brought this up when this topic was, taking place when Kyrie said what he said before that game, but. I remember when Adam Jones of the Orioles a few years ago was talking about how when they would go up to Red Sox games up in Boston, how fans would, call him nigga and all that stuff. So it's not just the basketball. It spreads out through all of the sports, in that city. But to kind of get to your point about Kyrie, and I get that. There was the thing after the game where he got into the middle of the floor and he stepped on the Leprechaun logo. And, I know KG said something. I know Big Baby had an issue with it.
Basically saying he had it coming because he did that.
Yeah, right. Like because he not so much that he had it coming, but they was basically saying, "Yo, you don't do that to the logo." And as we both know, KG won the chip with Boston. Big Baby was a part of that team, so there's some kind of Celtic pride talking there. But he didn't necessarily say that because he stepped on the Leprechaun logo that he deserved the bottle thrown to him, or that he should have seen it coming. Because for me, I don't care if he stepped on the B in the middle of the floor. Like, that doesn't warrant a water bottle being thrown at you. Like, that fan, that's uncalled for. I don't care what Kyrie did in the middle of the floor. I mean, the Ravens went in the middle of the Titans logo after we picked off Tannehill. Like, nobody threw stuff at the Ravens as we were leaving the field in that playoff game back in January. So why does that fan in Boston feel like, oh, he stepped on my logo, I got to throw something at him? Like
Here's the other piece. It's not your damn logo.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a team you root for. Like, yeah, I'm not with that.
Well, two things I'll say. One, Kevin Garnett seems like, and trust me, I didn't hear the whole. I didn't hear the quote or the video, see the video or whatever. Did he at any point acknowledge that fan was wrong, Kevin Garnett?
To my knowledge, no. It was just basically, hey, you can't step on the logo. That's basically what he was saying. It was just all about the logo.
Did Glenn Davis at any point acknowledge that the fan was wrong?
No. Not to my knowledge.
See for me, and that for them to not acknowledge the fans wrong makes me feel like they're insinuating that should have had, like, you get the energy you bring, like, you know what I'm saying? They make me feel like they saying that, like, 'cause I know you saying that he's saying that that Kevin Garnett didn't say nothing about the fan and, about the fact that the fan,
like, he wasn't saying that he deserved it. He just excluded the part about the fan throwing the bottle at him.
Right.
It stuck to the logo.
Yeah, it seems like to me. And again, I didn't watch the clip. I didn't hear the quote. It seems like to me, if you can acknowledge your feelings about Kyrie stepping on a logo, and you can't or don't or choose not to acknowledge the fan who threw the water bottle, to me, it seems like you feel like that was an even trade. And I don't know that's what he thought. I'm just telling you what it sound like.
I can understand
based
that.
on what we're saying. It sound like nigga, you stepped on our logo. What did you think they was going to do? That's what it sounds like to me. Now, I'm not saying that's what he's saying. I'm just telling you what it sounds like to me. And because I'm sorry, stepping on a logo is sports entertainment. Throwing water at somebody is, I should go up in them stands and bust your ass.
It's assault. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not rocking with that. Nah, I don't care about what he did on the logo. I damn sure don't care about what he did on the logo if you're not going to acknowledge a fan who Kyrie can't go up in the stands and see. If you're not going to acknowledge that, then I can't acknowledge what you're saying unless you want me to assume that you feeling like he should have did that because of what Kyrie did. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it.
I agree.
Yeah. That's why I'm at with it.
It sounds that way. Even though he didn't acknowledge the fan, it still sounds that way. As if to say,
no, like, hey, tell the fan, if you can go on whatever platform you was on to chastise Kyrie Irving, I'm sorry, you got to find your way to chastise that fan, because let's be very clear. If that fan had an opportunity for Kyrie Irving to see him throw a water bottle where Kyrie could reach him, that bitch nigga ain't throwing no water bottle. Period.
You know what?
He ain't throwing no water bottle if he felt like Kyrie can walk up in them stands and bust his ass.
Maybe we need to bring the Malice of the Palace back. Maybe maybe the league needs to just
No,
let
it
one
don't need,
slip here.
but it don't even need that. It just need to be what it needs to be is arrest him, but let him go see Kyrie first before you take him to the jail, to the holding cell or whatever you call it, wherever you send him. Mm-hmm. Let him go talk to Kyrie because Trey Young finds out somebody, because I don't think the spirit actually got on Trey Young from the whole thing. Let somebody let him find out. He tried to spit on me, and see if Trey Young don't smack flames out the bitch ass nigga whoever did that. You know what I'm saying? Whoever threw the popcorn.
That's sort of. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you, but
that's because it's not. I mean. But that's no. What is it? That I mean, because Malice in the Palace is somebody jumping in the stands, it happening in public, those types of things. I don't encourage that. There was kids and all types of shit that was affected in the Malice in the Palace. What I'm saying, take that nigga to Kyrie Irving and see what take the nigga to Kyrie Irving and ask Kyrie Irving do he want to press charges and let that man sit in that man's face, and then. God forbid Kyrie Irving be like, hey, nah, you ain't got to arrest him, but let's close the door real quick. Let me talk to this man for 5 minutes. But you know what I'm saying? Let me talk to this man for 5 minutes. Because best believe either the nigga gonna be real apologetic and humble all of a sudden, or they gonna shoot the fade.
Yeah.
And he don't want that. He a fan thinking he a fan thinking we little puppet, or thinking athletes are little puppets, little circus bears like Kevin Durant was talking about, that's just sitting around playing a sport to entertain them, which they are. But they not no fucking animals. They fucking people. Those are people that can fucking, like, nigga, who you talking to? Like, I will bust your ass. That's why I respect Kevin Durant so much. Because Kevin Durant, when he gets an opportunity to clap back, like, nigga, like, I will bust your ass in real life.
Mm-hmm. So you're right. So when I say Malice of the Palace, I do think about players going in the stands and going after cats. But you alluding to them in a room 1-on-1 and just letting them go at it, like. That's sort of the result that I kind of vision. I just wasn't visioning it in that setting. But that's the result that I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because essentially what it is that fan committed a crime against that player. These are a crime against one man to another man. And normally when that happens and you call the police or or whatever, they arrest them and they say to the person that was, disrespected, or a crime was committed, the victim of the crime, he says, hey, would you like to press charges? They say to that person, and, would you like to press charges? And then the person will say, yay, nay, whatever. And in that situation, I would love for, and I guess my example is just as imaginative as yours, but imagine that nigga that threw popcorn on Russell Westbrook, and Russell Westbrook being like, nah, let me just talk to him real quick in private.
Yeah. No, I feel you because other people can get hurt, which happened at the Palace. I mean, there were people that got hurt that had nothing to do with
they had nothing
what
to do
happened.
with it, right?
So yeah, no, I feel you. I just wanted to get the visual of the players confronting the people that are throwing things at them and just letting them get a taste of their own medicine. But necessarily in that setting, like you're right. Like it's got to be behind those doors, 1-on-1, and let them see.
Let's be clear. It might not even have to be a fight after that. It might not have to be a fight. It might. I mean, more times than not, I would imagine that fan would go in there and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." They would be apologetic. They would be immediate. A normal person would immediately be apologetic. One, because they got a little overhyped, and two, now they got to see that athletic Russell Westbrook, 6'3", 215 pounds, all athleticism. Now you got to see that man, and you ain't athletic at all.
Let me add something to that. I agree that it should be behind closed doors. I think to send a strong message to fans who want to do what these, fans have done, to these players, throwing stuff on the court and stuff to these players, videotape it. Like, let everybody see for the world that, this fan about to get his ass kicked by this player that he threw something at. Let everybody see it so that it sends a strong message.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just want this shit to stop. I don't know about it being videotaped. At the end of the
Visuals
day,
matter.
Sure. But a lot of times, the thing about that is a lot of times, and let's be clear, all of this shit is imagination, because they're never gonna put a patron in danger of being hurt by a player or vice versa, for that matter. And more than that, even if it got down to, in said example, Russell Westbrook whipping Slim ass, Slim could get his ass whooped and decide he wants to, and then Russell Westbrook got to go through all that, even though it wouldn't hold up in court and all those types of things, but he got to go through all that rigmarole just because he got popcorn thrown at him, So I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't,
Yeah, and what's crazy, because we got more games in this first round and the playoffs beyond. It ain't gonna stop. Like, in terms of us actually seeing these things happen. Like,
I think it's
in
the
amount of time, you think it's gonna stop?
I think fans are going to slow down. I think it's going to happen as soon as this week. I think it's going to happen as soon as this week. You're not going to hear. I don't think you're going to I don't think you're going to hear much more of it after this week. I think people got that shit out of their systems. Enough people got banned from stadiums and arrested. I think it's going to slow down.
Okay. I kind of still stand. I think you're going to see another idiot do something stupid. I mean, because I'll be honest with you, right before homeboy tried to ran on the court last night, I was like, okay, we not going to see none of this. Like, the whole water bottle, the Kyrie thing, like, okay, that's just kind of the straw that, broke the camel's back. Like, this is probably going to, cease at some point. And then last night, fan running on the court, and who knows what that fan was trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? I mean, he did run into the court, make the right, and then went away from the players.
I don't. Yeah,
so it would make you suggest that he wasn't going to, like, tackle any players or anything like that.
I mean, and in the grand scheme in the grand scheme of history, how that works with fans running on the playing fields. Yeah, they normally. That's why that's why that one doesn't even really bother me. That one, because that one fan that runs out onto this playing field for a quarter. Yeah. I mean, they always just want to be seen They just want to be. They just want to be seen. They always just want to be seen. I do want to speak about one corollary of what could happen when this goes wrong. It's not sports related, but it is a reminder of what can happen when you walk up on talent. So I don't know if you've seen this over the weekend on Instagram, but DC Young Fly was doing a show in California somewhere, and a fan walked up on the stage, and he put that nigga to sleep. DC Young Fly put that nigga to sleep. So, and then the person was escorted about the club, and he continued to do his comedy set. So just a reminder to all the NBA fans out there and NFL when it comes back around. Hell, soccer, if you feel like you want to disrespect a player, you can always get DC Young Fly.
Hell,
and I don't ever want you to, I want that person at that DC Young Fly comedy show to be the example for sport and fan events. I hope you've seen it. You can get DC Young Fly, and let's be clear, DC Young Fly is a small nigga. So God forbid you run up on a Joel Embiid. Yeah, you run up on one of the athletes. Yeah. So God forbid it be that. So I wish that I hope that fans have learned their lessons from what's happened to those offenders, and just enjoy the game, man. Talk some trash to the players if you're close enough for them to hear you, but keep it sports. keep it sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to Damian Owens in a Facebook live chat. Also,
What's
shout
happening?
out to Chief Rocker Jersey Vern. Shout out to Bama Boy 334. Shout out to the homie RC. Appreciate everybody in the Facebook live chat. Okay, now I get to talk about some games here now.
Okay, don't talk about games yet.
Wow, what's up?
Because this is important, but I promise it won't last long, and I don't want to forget by the time we get done with games. Naomi Osaka, who and I don't know if you had this on your notes, but I ain't gonna leave it alone.
It did. I did. Yep.
Okay.
I did.
Well,
yep.
Let's
let it rock.
Here we are. Yeah. So Naomi Osaka pulled out from the French Open. Let me back up. Let me backtrack. She made a statement saying she don't want to deal with media. She don't want to do. She's skipping the press conference. She cited mental health as her reasoning. She was fined $15,000, and she said, "Oh, okay, fine me $15,000. Cool. All right. Well, I'm just not gonna play then." Your thoughts?
If she never had to hit a ball in the sport of tennis ever again, she would be 100% fine with that. Naomi Osaka is set. She's worth about roughly $50 million, if I remember that figure correctly.
Well, that's what she made. That's what she made in the past year.
Is that what she made? Okay. So I'm fine with it, man. But I don't necessarily think that the French Open or whoever is the head of, operations for the French Open, I don't necessarily believe that they were wrong in this instance, because all athletes do have the obligation to speak to the media. It's what you sign up for as an athlete. So obviously the Open had something to do when they did what they had to do. Now, also Naomi Osaka did what she had to do also, and that was to take care of her mentals. And we've seen these things, and I'm gonna just stick to tennis for a minute here, but we've seen Serena Williams break down crying in press conferences after a match. And as a matter of fact, I think a couple years ago when her and Naomi were in a match, Serena spazzed out on a judge, if I'm not mistaken, like toward the end of that.
She got a little emotional
tournament.
when Naomi was getting in her ass.
Yeah. So, look, man, these things are going to happen. I mean, I think the one thing that's important about all this is that the mental health awareness part of this needs to be put to the forefront. And just to kind of go through other sports for a minute, DeMar DeRozan's come out and has talked about how he deals with the, mental illness. Kevin Love has come out and talked about it. A few other athletes in and around these other sports have put awareness to mental illness. So Naomi Osaka doing what she has to do and also kind of putting mental illness back to the forefront in the spotlight, that's a good look. It might be terrible for tennis as a sport that she's not there. But, these are the breaks. I mean, Tiger Woods might never swing a golf club ever again. But at some point, golf got to move on, right? So in a case for tennis, they just going to have to move on without Naomi Osaka. And obviously that cost them viewership, that cost them some money. But, they did what they had to do. I thought both parties did what they needed to do respectively. That's how I look at it.
What do you say to the Piers Morgans? I'm not sure if you're familiar with Piers Morgan, but what do you say about the Piers Morgans who basically saying that she's using this as using mental illness as a crutch to not be criticized on her tennis game?
That's crazy you mentioned his name, because I thought he quit. I thought he quit after he said what he said about what's that?
Well, this was an article. This was an article I read that he wrote, I believe, on like Daily Mail or whatever it's called, where.
I didn't
So
know
this wasn't on that. This wasn't on that show that he walked off.
That he quit. He quit
Yeah,
because he
this
talked
wasn't
about
that
Prince Harry and Meghan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this wasn't from that show. I read this from an article today on Daily
Got you.
Mail.
Got you. Yeah, he finds a way to make himself known, huh? Well, look, so what? I mean, so what if it's a crutch? Going through it, right? It's the truth, right? I mean, in her belief, it's the truth.
Well, I feel like what he's saying is that she's not really suffering from mental illness. I think what he's trying to say is that she just don't want to be criticized. She don't want to take the brunt that comes with being a superstar in her sport. So when she does something wrong, she doesn't want to be criticized on doing something wrong. That's his angle.
I think he's wrong about that. I think he's wrong about that because if she didn't want criticism, then for me, she would have still elected to play French Open. I think personally, I'm surprised, and maybe I'm not on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter all day, but for me, you back out of a tournament, I would suspect that she would even get more criticism. Not from me personally, but from the masses, I would assume that. So I don't think she's trying to dodge being criticized because I think she's already going through that.
I don't think she. Now, full disclosure, I have a biased Twitter timeline. But everything I've seen on social media has been love. I've seen Common love, showing the love. I seen
Steph
another
Curry.
athlete, Steph Curry. But that's not the one. It was people have been showing her love all over my timeline, basically saying, "Yeah, take care of your mental health." Woo, 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 fuck the, it's 15K. She got 15K. It's like, whatever. Like, do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do for you. And I agree with that 100%. Do what you gotta do for you. What I'll say, and to be honest with you, you're right in that they should have fined her. Yes, if you're obligated to do press conferences, and you don't, you should be fined. But here's the thing for me: take your 15K. I'm not going. As you know, as a matter of fact, until I feel like it, I ain't doing them no more. I'll send you the 15K, right? I'll send you the 15K. Cause what you gonna do? Tell me I can't play tennis with y'all no more? Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. They need her. Right. They need her. Yeah.
They need her. And really, she got all the leverage. Oh, you want me to do press conferences? Oh, well, I don't want to do press conferences. So now you got to make me doing press conferences worth my while. What y'all gonna do? Because all the money I'm bringing y'all in from being the best tennis player in the game right now. Yeah. What y'all gonna do now? Which I make press conferences worth my while because the money I'm bringing y'all in, I don't feel like I gotta do it.
15K, that's pennies. So, yeah, I'm with it. I mean, and they need.
I'm telling the French Open make it worth my while. I'm telling every other tennis competition make it worth my while because I ain't doing press conferences no more. You know why? Because it stresses me out, and y'all want me to play the best tennis I can play. Because I'm the star of y'all sport. So I'm doing what's necessary for me to give y'all the best performances that y'all asked for so people will continue to watch y'all product. So I don't want to do it. Kiss my ass.
Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my wife in the Facebook live chat here. She says, if left up to the athletes, then no one is going to do press conferences. Let's face it. Why volunteer something that's no longer required? And then she also says, and we have the potential to have athletes that aren't A-listers doing the conferences, which will not bring in the audience that these executives are looking for.
So make it worth my while. So make it worth my while. Make it worth my while.
Yeah.
Because let's be clear. I don't watch press conferences for all the other tennis players. I don't watch it.
Yep. Shout out
Tell
to
me, Naomi.
Tree.
What's happening? You telling me that Naomi might, give me a couple bars about how she felt? I might watch that, especially if she offer, a vicious win or, you know what I'm saying? I might watch Naomi because she's the only person I really care about. I don't care about these other tennis players, respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Serena and Venus.
And I was gonna say when Serena and Venus bow out, it's gonna be the Naomi Osaka show from this point on. So
and let's be clear, it kind of is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even while Serena's still there. Yeah. I agree.
I mean, Venus just played last week. Nobody talking about that.
I forgot who she played, but I did see.
Was it Coco Golf?
Coco Golf. Yes.
Ain't nobody even know. Coco Golf ain't no slouch tennis player. So
yeah, she good too.
Yeah, and wasn't nobody checking for that. Wasn't nobody. I mean, I guess maybe hardcore tennis fans might have been, but wasn't nobody checking for that.
Nah, I wasn't checking for it.
Niggas want to see Naomi. Niggas want to see Naomi, man.
They want to see and really they want to see Serena still.
Yeah,
I think at this point, they still want to see Serena. But yeah, Coco Golf is good. Venus is good.
My point is that now that players recognize I don't have to deal with that shit. Now the sports and commissioners, y'all y'all billionaires. Now y'all got to figure out a way to make it worth my while because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, shout out to the greatest finest from South Central in the Facebook live chat. Appreciate you, man. I got nothing else on Naomi there, but I think we're both in lockstep here. Is that she, did what she needed to do in terms of looking out for her mentals, and whenever she get back to the game is when she get back to the game, man. And she shouldn't have to rush it either.
Right. But I'm saying, but the message that comes out of the Naomi Osaka story is they need to make it worth their while. And I get what sports, what the media does. Like, they bring awareness to the sport. They bring awareness to players. Well, guess what? Naomi Osaka don't need the media to bring awareness to players no more, to the people no more, because she's already the biggest thing in sports. So what am I still coming to talk to y'all for?
Yeah, right. So, all right, man. Basketball, man. Let's run through it, man. What you wanna save?
Hey, man, you
want to say the
bro.
worst for last? You want to say the worst for last, man?
Hey, man, at this stage of the game, I ain't gonna hold you, man. We might win Game 5 because Embiid ain't gonna play. So.
Is that official? Is that official that he's out for Game 5?
He's unlikely. It says last I checked, it was unlikely. It was unlikely last I checked. So if Embiid don't play, and it's trending on my timeline, Embiid don't play, or Embiid might be out for two games.
Mm-hmm.
So as bad as we played the first 3 games. And we got through this game, and
they were bad 3 games. They were bad 3 games.
We got Game 4. We still, and Embiid's not playing in Game 5, most likely according to reports. So we'll probably still win in Philly. I'm just we ain't out.
I thought about your video. I thought about your Insta story video last night after Embiid went down, and I said, "Man, looky here. This guy is he's gonna bring about trying to create some history for the first time in the history of the NBA for a team to come back from 3 down to win a series in the NBA. Hey, man, go ahead and make that history happen, man. If I'm a Wizards fan, hey." If I'm a Wizards fan, hey, run with it. I still don't think y'all getting out of the series. I picked the Sixers in 6 anyway, so I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna be right about how the series ends either way. But if you're a Wizards fan and Embiid, like you said, he don't come back for another couple games. And y'all might
they don't beat us without Embiid. Let's be very clear. They don't beat us without Embiid.
Sure, y'all gonna hack a Simmons all the way to clinch the series. I mean that's basically what it's gonna be. Because even real rap. the end of that game last night really came down to them niggas fouling Simmons, intentionally and putting them at the line. That was a 2-point ball game for about 3 minutes there, with about maybe 2.5 minutes left to go. So, even with Embiid not there, that was a dog fight of a W to get last night. So, hey man, if y'all gonna make history and be the first team to do that, win 4 straight after being down 3-0, hey, run with it. Run with it, fam. As far as the Knicks go, I'll be honest, bruh. We probably should have been swept out of this series already. Just from game 1 to game 4. We have been dominated probably 95% of these 4 games combined. It's
even
there.
The game y'all won?
Even the game we won. Even the game we won, bruh. Game 2. We were down 10, 11 points early in that game. And what changed that game for us was when Trey Young was on the bench in the third, toward the end of the third quarter, and Nate McMillan left him on the bench too long, and that's when we made our run. It was like a 11-0 run, and we came out with the victory. I think it was a 9-point, 10-point victory. Man, we got kicked in the egg, man. I can't put it in no other words, bro. We got our asses kicked in Atlanta. We were hanging in there, for a little bit, but then it's the shooters, and it's not like Trey Young has had this, this 30-point, 40-point breakout.
It was spread around. It was definitely spread around in Atlanta.
He was spreading it around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Them white boys in Atlanta was knocking down shots, man. And and really that's the difference between them and us is that our shooters aren't shooters. We don't have the guys consistently to really, match their firepower with that. So kind of going back to last week, we talked about Thibodeau making the adjustment to put Derrick Rose in the starting lineup, which he did for game 3. Game 3 and game 4, he put him in the starting lineup. It worked okay for me, for my liking. It worked okay, but I think at some point when it's obvious that you're the lesser of the two teams, you got to make more adjustments. And Thibodeau really has gotten stuck with this whole, I gotta go back to when we was, in Chicago, Taj Gibson getting burned. You know what I'm saying? He started in game 4. And I understand Nerlens Noel, is a little hobbled at this point. So he only played maybe, 15, 20 minutes. But I would like to see just kind of moving forward. And I get this is our last gas at the Garden tomorrow night. This is really it. I would love to see a game 6 here. But here's what I got to see to be convinced that we can win game 5. Reggie Bullock need to sit his ass down. After game 4, this nigga played 30 plus minutes and scored 0 points. And he messed up a fast break. He traveled during a fast break just as we was trying to get back into that game and try to cut that game, cut the deficit down. He messed up that entire momentum. So for me, he got to sit on the bench for game 5. Give Obi Toppin 20 plus minutes. Give Emmanuel Quickly 20 plus minutes. These cats is young. What do we got to lose at this point? Obi Toppin, when he hits the floor, he brings a certain energy with him. Every game this series he's been on the floor, that dude has done something good. He hasn't embarrassed himself. He's not scared of the moment. Put the man out there and make him play some minutes. Emmanuel Quickly, he's going to shoot threes. He's going to let it fly. He's not scared. Let him play 20 plus minutes. And as far as the star of the team, Julius Randle, who is having a he is having a terrible series, like
Yep.
terrible. He's having a terrible series. He was a little bit better in Game 4, but it was too late at that point. R.J. Barrett, I think, is having anywhere from a so-so to a not-so-good series. He needs to pick it up as well. But for me, those are the adjustments that Thibodeau's got to make if we're going to have a chance to win Game 5. IQ needs more minutes. OB needs more minutes. Reggie Bullock, sit your ass on the bench because, there's no point. Reggie, if you're Reggie Bullock, you're on the floor to score. And if you're going to put up 0 points and 30-something minutes on the floor, then, like, what the hell? What good are you? Like, you.
So maybe I wasn't clear on what his role was, because I thought he was more of a defensive player.
He can play some defense, but he can also shoot the basketball as well.
Okay.
So again, and I don't really care what kind of player you are, whether you're more defensive oriented, offensive oriented, or you do a little bit of both. But 0 points and 30+ minutes of time on the floor, yeah, I can't rock with that. Like, you gotta. Not to say that he shouldn't play at all in Game 5, but he need his minutes reduced just for that performance and let some of these young cats, get this burn, man.
So,
At some point, I'm sorry. At some point, I got to say this about Derrick Rose. He's been the best player for us in this series. The dude is getting tired, man. Like, I'm looking at Game 4, and the dude is just like, yo, like what I got to do to get these cats the ball in the right spots. They shooting, they're just not hitting these shots down. But if not for Derrick Rose, we probably get swept. If not for Derrick Rose.
Well, in response to your synopsis on the series, I hate to be that dude that sticks to his guns. But I think for me, the biggest factor in this series is Trey Young. Trey Young being a star, and nobody on the Knicks team being a star, which I guess at this point would fall on the lap of Julius Randle. Look, even his 21-point games with 6 assists. Look, like,
and he had 14 assists in Game 3. I think he had 14 assists. I think.
Like he's going crazy. He's going crazy, and yes, and obviously, if Knicks players knock the shots down, Derrick Rose's stat line look better, and maybe you got a better shot at winning one of those 2 games in Atlanta. But
if Julius Randle shows up. If Julius Randle shows up and comes out from hiding, we can win a couple of these games. He averaged 24 in the season, and he's averaging about 15 points in the series. That ain't gonna cut it if you're Julius Randle.
So we both picked the Knicks to win the series. Obviously, that doesn't seem like we're going to get that right. But I remember you specifically saying that this season would be a disappointment if they don't get out the first round. Do you stand by that?
I do. I do stand by it, and for the reason that I stated before the series started, and because of how this team looks right now. Like, I'm hearing all kinds of things about how maybe players were, too scared of the moment because everybody's back at the Garden. The Garden was packed, and this whole season they played in front of nobody. They played in front of a few people, but this whole season, they played in front of barely nobody, and we get to the playoffs, and it's all, with what looks like 100% capacity at the Garden, it seems like the Knicks have morphed into not a very good basketball team. It seems like that's the moment where this team just kind of reverted back to, what they were, within the last 7 years.
I don't think
I can't explain it.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think to say that they reverted to what they've been in the past. Like, this team is in the playoffs as the 4th seed right now.
Sure. And they earned it. Sure.
And they earned it through the course of 70 or 72 games. I mean, how many games it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's be clear about it. Taj Gibson, Derrick Rose, and Alex Burke are the only players with playoff experience on this team. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely, yeah. But especially Rose and Gibson. I don't know so much about Burks.
Burks used to play for Utah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right.
So yeah. So it's like, and outside of Derrick Rose, mm-hmm. there's nobody who has even remotely been thrown into a situation where it's like, ooh, I'm the man on the team. Mm-hmm. Julius Randle hasn't been in that position up until now. In fact, nobody thought Julius Randle would be here. You know, most improved player, sure. averaging 24, all those types of things. This experience is new to all of the core players outside of Derrick Rose on the team. I can't hold that against them in their first year. I can't hold that against them. I can't because on the other side of it, while Trey, I don't think Trey Young's been in the playoffs, but
this is his first go round.
But I believe Gallinari has been there. I believe Bogdanovich has been there. Clint Capella has been there.
Capella.
They got guys that are in key positions on their team mm-hmm. that have been in that situation, mm-hmm. and then they got this young boy where they just giving information to, like, hey, this is how you move in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, mm-hmm. I can't really put much.
What it sounds to me like you're saying is that the difference between these two teams is that one team has told their guy, hey, you are the man. This is your team. Let it fly. We go as you go. And the other team is like, okay, we gonna, it's
playing
all
a team
for one,
game.
One for all. We play as a team game. This is how we're gonna do it. Like that's the difference between these two teams. And when you really dig deeper into the Knicks, go ahead.
Or they did tell Julius Randle that, because let's be clear, that's who we're speaking about. Or they did mm-hmm. tell Julius Randle that, and he wasn't ready for the moment. This was his first time in the moment. And even more than that, mm-hmm. and I hate to be the pessimist, I'd be lying to you if I said I believe Julius Randle as being the guy on a basketball team. I'd be lying to you. I don't believe that.
Oh, I think everybody would. I think I'd lie to you and say that. Like,
what he has done this year, mm-hmm. has been nothing short of amazing. But if you're asking me that, if the Knicks were trying to sell me that Julius Randle is the guy, and they don't have to draft no more to try to find that guy or develop, if it's mm-hmm. RJ Barrett, if it's Obi or whoever, but they don't have a guy yet. And I'm sorry, man. In the playoffs, it's for me. Who got that guy, and then who's going to outperform the other team's guy when it matters? Mm-hmm. So,
sure,
they don't.
Sure,
they don't.
Most of the time, that's the case. Most of the time, that's the case.
Most of the time,
that's the case. I've obviously seen the Raptors win playoff series without that guy. I've seen a bunch of other teams that are team oriented win series. But for the most part,
the Hawks used to do it years ago.
The Hawks, yes, I'm sorry, the Hawks, they won playoff series without that guy. But for the most part, if you're going to compete in this league in the playoffs, you're going to need a guy that's going to say, hey, I'm the man.
Give me the ball. Get the hell out of my way.
Give me the ball, and even not really get out the way. It's, hey, we need some buckets. We got to get back in this game, And we don't have that cat right now. And it's not to say that RJ Barrett can't be that guy a year or two from now. It's not to say that Obi Toppin, and I'm not sure even he could be the guy because of his style of play. It's really, for me, RJ Barrett, who, by the way, was in that same draft with Zion and John Morant, and he was the third pick in that draft. RJ Barrett, at some point, this may be his team, moving forward. If they're going to talk about having a guy that's, going to take over a game when things are down, get buckets when we need the bleeding stopped, it's got to be him, moving forward.
For your team's
But
sake,
mhm.
For your team's sake, I really hope the rumors of superstars wanting to come to New York are true. Excuse me.
Well, we'll see about that. I definitely think that Julius Randle and Tom Thibodeau and Worldwide West, Leon Rose, and these guys, they've definitely have made the Knicks look attractable this year. They've definitely done that. Whether players want to come, that remains to be seen, because when I look at the off season, who we talking about? I mean, Giannis signed an extension. I know they've talked about, and I guess we can get into this next series. I know that when they talked about the Heat getting swept, and by the way, that was just that. I mean, if you want to talk about a team that's had the worst performance in these playoffs, it's the Miami Heat. I mean, I don't even think it's close. I don't know what happened to Jimmy Butler in that series, but that was just terrible basketball from them. There's been this talk about Kawhi Leonard not wanting to go back to the Clippers because of them being down 0-2 to the Mavericks, and now we see how that's kind of playing out with them tying the series up. They were saying maybe the Heat might go after Kawhi if things don't work out in LA. And then I hear this other story. Hey, maybe the Knicks might try to, go out and get Kawhi if, things don't work out in LA. I'm not counting on that. And it's not because of what the Clippers have done up to this point now. They've tied the series. And I think at this point, they're going to win the series. I don't think the Mavericks are going to win another game in the series at this point. But there's really nobody that's a free agent that's, okay, we got to go after this guy. It's going to be by trade if you're talking about this offseason. And one, I want to share this with you before we move on. There was a Sports Illustrated article this week that came out about Bradley Beal. And they were talking about how Bradley Beal is sort of stuck to his guns about not leaving DC and the loyalty and, all that stuff, because all the rumors about him being traded this season. And he just was like, nah, I'm not going nowhere. I'm in DC. My heart's in DC. This is where I'm at. So the writer went in to say, listen, that's cool with the whole loyalty thing and all that, but you in the NBA, and when you look around at superstars and even stars that are a little below the tier of superstar, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get to a point to where you're going to be unhappy with the situation you're in. And when that time comes, you're going to let your frustrations out. At some point, and just to kind of get to the point of the article, he's basically saying that at some point, Bradley Beal is going to renege on his loyalty to DC.
Or change his mind. That's reasonable, though.
Right, of course. And every player has the right to do that. I mean, Kyrie changed his mind after he told Celtics fans in the middle of a game that I look forward to re-signing with you guys, and next thing you know, he's in Brooklyn. So yeah, that happens, no question about it. Thinking about the Knicks here for a second in regard to Bradley Beal, again, that would just have to be a trade situation. That's not anything that you're just going to be like, oh, we're going to wait till he's a free agent. No, you're going to have to trade for him, which means you're giving up draft picks, one, and number two, you giving up on RJ Barrett, you giving up on IQ, Obi Toppin, and if that ever happened, I'm not saying that the Knicks would be crazy to do that, but I'm just wondering for the Knicks themselves, do that to get a guy like Bradley Beal or to get somebody like Kawhi Leonard if he doesn't opt into, or if he does opt into a contract and decides, you know what, I don't want to be here no more.
So here comes the question that comes with all these conversations. If Bradley Beal is interested to come to New York, you give him you essentially give him what he wants, right?
I think you have to. I mean, when you look at our performance in the playoffs, I think you have to. We need shooters.
Everybody.
I mean,
yeah. And let's be clear, Bradley Beal alone isn't going to solve your shooting issue, because that's what the Wizards That's what the Wizards found out in the playoffs really quick. I mean, we've been a bad 3-point shooting team pretty much all year, but in this series specifically, it's like we passing them up because we not making them. It's crazy what's going on in my series, but unfortunately, and I know you were big on the whole, let's just draft, let's take our time, let's just draft, and you've been big on that for a couple of years now, and kind of see it come to fruition in some respects. I can imagine it's gratifying, but now in a situation where you have attracted players, look, if Bradley Beal comes to the New York Knicks and the Wizards said they want Quickly, whoever his name, I wouldn't want it on my side of it. But obviously, if the Knicks say, we want Bradley Beal for, or you could have Bradley Beal for Quickly in a first rounder, or
right. But it would consist of, for me, that trade sounds like it needs to be R.J. Barrett and a combination.
I'm just naming
IQ.
names. Yeah, I'm just naming names, but obviously the compensation would be bigger than what I just said, but Lord knows what it would probably be for Kawhi Leonard. I just wanted to know
if
that
he signs that option. Yeah,
obviously, I'm just saying that if it was an option, the compensation would be bigger than I mentioned, but. Getting through all that, but I just wanted to make sure you do understand that what comes with those free agents comes you losing some of those assets that you were kind of big on growing and grooming.
Well, not free agents. I'm sorry,
draft picks. I meant draft picks. I mean, draft picks. So you would lose out on the idea, because, like I said, your idea was you wanted to bring guys in, groom them to be star players, kind of like what Golden State did. And if you start to attract players, you can't turn down Bradley Beal talking about, I want to, not in New York. You can't turn down Bradley Beal talking about, I want to groom R.J. Barrett. Nah, you gotta pull the trigger on that.
If Bradley Beal want to come, then we got to do what we got to do.
You got to make that happen. Yeah.
Let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say Bradley Beal doesn't want to come to New York or any other star that's looking to get out. Jimmy Butler, I keep hearing that he's up for an extension with the Heat, and given what we saw in the playoffs, I don't know what the Heat's thinking at this moment. But what if a guy like him? Hey, Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, or, and all these other guys there, hey, I might want to, join them, help them take over the top. Maybe that's a possibility. But really, the weakness has been the lack of shooting. So if any of the big guys aren't available, then I would like to see the Knicks go out and get a Duncan Robinson, because I know Duncan Robinson's a free agent. A Tyler Hero who people keep saying down in Miami, like they looking to, get him up out of there because he got so many distractions, being in South Beach and all that. And I mean, that's kind of evident with the minutes that he's been getting in the Bucks series. I don't know if you paid attention to that, but he's been, he hasn't been getting a lot of run lately.
Starting. He's been starting.
Right. So, like, if you told me those two guys were available, and I know that they could shoot and knock shots down, I'll take that and still be able to keep R.J. Barrett, going into his third year to see what he can do. Emmanuel Quickly, upside. Obi
Would you
Toppin,
give up Randall
upside.
for it? Would you give up Randall for it?
Well, no, because again, those guys would be free agents. Well, at least Duncan Robinson would be a free
Duncan
agent.
Robinson is for shit. Duncan Robinson is. Mm-hmm.
But Tyler Hero would be in a trade, but I don't know that you have to give up much to get Tyler Hero.
To get Tyler Hero. Okay.
Well,
I mean, people still think his upside is pretty high though. I mean, maybe not Julius Randle. Yeah, maybe not Julius Randle high, but I mean,
right.
But his upside is still pretty high.
Sure. And again, I'm just talking about guys that could shoot. You know what I'm saying? Because clearly that's what we're lacking right now. If I were to get those two guys and keep the rest of the team intact, I'd be good to go with that going into next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So I guess just to kind of stick to the Heat Bucks series. I mean, really, there's really nothing to talk about.
There's really nothing to talk about.
I mean, domination.
Games
domination
1 through 4. Games 1 through 4. I don't know what got into Jimmy Butler and the Heat. I mean, in general, all of them just looked crazy. I mean, I guess you got to give credit to Drew Holiday, who was an integral part in that series. Obviously,
Chris Middleton became a closer.
Look, I will say this. I don't know how much of that has to do with the disdain that they had for the Heat for what happened last year. And I don't know if this is going to carry over into whatever the next series is.
Well, let's remember, it was 2 games before the regular season ended. And the Heat played the Bucks the second to last game of the season. Yep. And the Bucks had every right to sit their starters and say, hey, we don't want no parts of the Heat in the playoffs. They had every right to do that. They had control of who they wanted to play. They said, no.
We want the Heat.
We're starting these guys. We're going to play you. We want you. And they knew. They knew. They beat the Heat. They're playing the Heat in the 3-6. So it started right there. And I got to give them respect for that because when you talk about what the Clippers did and who knows if the Clippers really, lost those final 2 games just to dodge the Lakers, who knows? But the Bucks clearly was like, nah, we not dodging nobody. We want you, Miami. And that's what they got. And they got him up out of there quick.
And they dealt with him. And they got him out of there quick. Yep. So shouts out to them. Yep. They deserve all the flowers. They deserve the flowers for sweeping the Heat for sure.
No doubt. Clippers in Dallas. This is a crazy series right here because I watched Game 3 and Luka was just being Luka. Just right out the gate in Game 3, and then next thing you know, Kawhi and Paul George, it was like, oh hell nah, they not about to blow us out. Like Paul George dropped like 28. I think Kawhi dropped like 30 plus in Game 3. They ended up beating the Mavs, and then the story came out about the nerve in Luka's neck. Can't keep his head up, and I mean it affected his play obviously. And it just kind of going into Game 4. It just seemed like the Mavs had no shot of, putting this thing, to go up 3-1 in the series. For me, if this keeps up, if his neck doesn't get any better, they're not winning another game in the series.
Yeah. If he ain't 100%, if he ain't comfortable with the ball, but we're not talking about nobody else in the team. He makes everybody else on the team look better than what they really are.
Look good. Yeah. Porzingis is nothing without Luka. I hate to spoil it, but he can't do much without Luka. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. He's a good shooter, but he is better when Luka is feeding him the rock in certain spots on the floor. The same with Jalen Brunson. Good shooter, but, he needs help. He needs the services of Luka to get him the ball. So, this looked like a promising series win for the Mavericks. It looked really promising. And it would have had a lot of drama behind it if the Clippers would have got swept by the Mavericks. But the
Here we
Clippers
are.
woke up, man. Yeah, they woke
Yeah.
up.
Here we are.
They're awake. So we'll see what happens there. And then I got this game on with the Boston Celtics and the Nets, and that's going to be a gentleman's sweep tonight, in my opinion. I was actually surprised that they got the Game 3 win down in Boston with Jason Tatum dropping another 50 points.
But that's the only way they had a shot. That's the only way they had a shot to get a W.
Yeah.
Was But I told you they was gonna get one though. I was confident they was gonna get one.
You did.
Yeah, I was confident they was gonna get one.
I had them sweeping them, but you did say that they would get one. And I'll be honest with you, watching the beginning of Game 4 where the Celtics just came out hot, firing, I thought, oh snap, like this series is about to go 6.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyrie just kind of shut that up real quickly with the 40-point performance. I think Durant had like 30. I think Harden had like 20 plus.
24.
Yep. And so they about to close this thing out. It's a 6-point game right now, but that lead will get extended at some point. And then you got the what's the other series in the East?
So hold on.
Go ahead.
So the Bucks are sweat. The Bucks are in the next round. Do they get Brooklyn if Brooklyn wins?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yep. And I haven't really, and I know I want to go with it. I still think Brooklyn's getting to the finals, but after what I just saw them do to the Heat, and I get that the Heat is not Brooklyn, but I think the Bucks. I don't think they're going to go down quietly. Like I could see this going 7. I could see this really going the distance.
Well, I could tell you, I could tell you right now, I got Nets in 6.
Nets in 6. Okay.
I mean, we could hold the predictions. We could, but I got Nets in 6. I mean, I'll respect that the Bucks have a little bit more firepower right now than the Celtics do, and that'll get them a couple of games. But when it's all said and done, Jimmy Butler ain't Kevin Durant. Duncan Robinson ain't Kyrie Irving.
I was gonna say Bam ain't James Harden. So
yeah. So I mean,
I feel you.
I think they're good. Yeah,
I feel you. That'll be a good series to watch, though. Even if it goes 6, like that'll be a good series to watch. But you know who's been playing like really hard in these playoffs, but really hasn't gotten the W's to really show for it? The Memphis Grizzlies. They have been like playing these guys tough, and it's just the inexperience of the Grizzlies.
Pedigree, pedigree.
Really, yeah, it is. It's pedigree on the Jazz's part, inexperience with the Grizzlies, but they're not out of these games. I've watched all their games, and these guys just won't. They won't quit. Like what's a kid named Dylan Brooks? Dylan Brooks is
young killer.
Jaren
John
Jackson
Morant,
is
young killing.
Yeah. Like these guys are hungry. They play.
But at the end of the day, this is all they could do. Yeah, this is what they're supposed to do.
That's right.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
They're supposed to give a hard time.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
and they haven't embarrassed themselves one bit.
They've been playing. They've been balling. They ball out and then hope things fall their way, and they just haven't because the Jazz know what they're doing. Quinn Snyder he know what he's doing. He's quietly a very good coach. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Clarkson, Ingles, like they know what they're doing. Like they're role players.
They've been through these wars, man. They've been through it.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, and it's like you said, experience. You see it. That's like it's not it's not nothing difficult to point out. You see it.
Mm-hmm. So I still got Blazers in 7 with this series. It's tied 2-2, I think. Going back to Denver for Game 5 tonight, and I just get the sense that this absence of Jamal Murray is really gonna play a part in the Blazers winning the series. Even if they win tonight, I could see Denver, getting a Game 6 win, and then Portland closing it out in 7. But I just think Portland right now, they just
Better
got too
team.
much experience, better team, a lot of experience, and it's just no knock on guys like Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. What's the kid named Monte Morris? Comes off the bench. Like, it's no disrespect to those guys, because those guys have had some pretty good games in this series. But Damian Lillard is just an animal, man. Like, I mean, you talk
And
about
for
best
the
player in the
past 2 or
series,
3, and for the
and
past 2 or 3 years in the playoffs, has been doing this.
yeah, exactly, and not that Denver hasn't. I mean, they were in the conference finals last year, and then they were in the second round the year before. So it's not like the Nuggets don't have experience. The Blazers just have a lot more experience, and particularly in Lillard and CJ McCollum and Carmelo Anthony. There's a lot of playoff experience right there between those three guys.
But I say that to say in response to that, but Dame been killing. The Denver team has been doing well for the past 2-3 years maybe, but Dame Lillard specifically
with Jamal Murray on it though.
Yeah, but even if you compare moments between Jamal Murray and Dame Lillard, Dame, who's been specifically
Dame has more moments.
Been putting Portland, putting their team on his back, even when Portland didn't have a very good front court. To last year, year before, Dame Lillard has been like, all right, we don't got no front court. It's on me now. And he's been killing.
Right.
Jamal Murray has been great in the playoffs and has had moments as well. But let's be clear, there has been several situations where the game was on the line with seconds left, and Dame Lillard sent niggas home. And
no question.
It's a different type of. That's not to say Jamal Murray ain't a dog. It's just that this dog and Dame Lillard has had the opportunity to kill and has killed.
If Jamal Murray was in this series playing right now 100% healthy, we would get what we got between Utah and Denver in the first round last year.
Yeah. And I still think Denver would come out.
Year. Yeah, no, I mean that's very viable, and I would most likely pick Dame. So I'm just not gonna just discredit what Jamal Murray in the playoffs can bring to the table. Like,
sure,
like they could go back and forth, trade bucket. I could see Jamal Murray getting one on Dame in a series. I could see Dame getting a couple game winners in a series against the Nuggets. So I just think that this series would have been more compelling, obviously, with Jamal Murray in the lineup healthy. But the Nuggets as a team, they're still good enough to not go out of this series in 5 or 6 games. For me anyway. I think the team is still good enough to hang in there. But give me the Blazers, man. And I'm rooting for Carmelo, man. I mean, we talk about guys that don't have rings yet that are on their way out. I mean, Chris Paul is another cat. I mean, we'll talk about him in a minute. But Carmelo Anthony, I mean, if there's a guy to root for to get a ring, it's that dude.
I agree.
Hopefully, hopefully
I mean,
that can happen.
He ain't getting no ring. Yeah, it's not, but
because we know what's going on the other side, on the east side.
Yeah.
We know what's going on.
It's not.
We know.
Yeah, it's
we
not.
Know what's
I
going
mean,
on,
look, as much turmoil that the Lakers are in, I ain't necessarily gave up on them making the finals yet.
On the Lakers in the finals?
Yeah. I ain't necessarily gave up on it yet.
Right. So Anthony Davis is out. So how you see this thing playing out after what we've seen so far?
I forgot about Anthony Davis though, but I did forget about Anthony Davis. Yeah, fuck all that shit I just said. Fuck all that shit I just said. Fuck all that shit I just
I mean,
said.
it was just a couple of days ago he got injured.
But I just wasn't thinking about it when I just said what I said. I was thinking about a LeBron and Anthony Davis team, and if it's not going to be that, I don't know that because CP3 back. He told you he back.
He told you he back. Yep.
And I without Anthony Davis, I don't know if they got an answer. I don't think that they might. I don't know if they're getting out this series, even though I had them getting out of this series.
I think the Suns are gonna win tonight for certain, and I mean, if Anthony Davis is out again for Game 6, I don't know. I mean, I think LeBron can get you one by himself. I think here's the best case scenario for the Lakers, right? So AD's out tonight. So for me, I think the Suns win. I think LeBron can get you one. If it means he got to put the whole team on his back and, he got to go back to his Cleveland days and just, dominate the ball the way he did, I think he can get you one. And that one's got to be Game 6. Obviously. And if he can do that and Anthony Davis can come back and play, and maybe he's not 100%, but maybe he's 70%, which will be better than 0% of not having him, then the Lakers have their chance right there. If they can get it to a Game 7 and they can get him on the floor, that's their only hope.
Yeah, but I think Chris Paul is going to have his team ready, man.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they win tonight. They win tonight. I think Game 6, regardless of what happens, Chris Paul is going to have his team prepared. Like, hey, bruh, LeBron is coming, and
right. I ain't going out. I ain't going out in the first round again. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, so I think he'll have them ready. Lakers don't get out the first round. They don't get out the first round.
Yeah,
they losing
first
6.
time in LeBron's career.
Yeah, they losing 6. Yeah, they losing 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see it, man. I had the Suns.
Yeah, see,
I had them in 7.
I had the Lakers, but
I think the Suns want to get them out.
Yeah, I had the Lakers, but it was solely based on Anthony Davis and LeBron James dominating this series. Mm-hmm. And LeBron has been okay, and Anthony Davis obviously hasn't been really good.
Mm-hmm. I want to mention his name one more time. DeAndre Ayton. He is having a great series in this series against the Lakers. He's averaging 20 and 10. For his first go round in the playoffs. That's not bad for him. So shout out to him. Shout out to Devin Booker, man, too. He's having a good series too. So, look, man, I got nothing else, bro. I'm about to go ahead and check out the rest of this game. And look forward to the Suns and Lakers game tonight too. I'm definitely gonna at least try to watch the first half.
I'm gonna try to watch some of it. Yeah.
Yeah. See how this thing plays out too. And Denver and Portland is on tonight too. So I'm gonna be flipping back and forth between that one.
So where is the Denver Portland game on? Like what
NBA
channel?
NBA TV.
See, I don't have NBA TV.
You ain't got that.
Yeah, that's that. I was urged. I mean, if I really wanted to watch it, I could find a way to watch it. But I don't care that. Yeah, I don't care that much. So I probably.
I was gonna say it's not that intriguing for you to just look for it.
Well, not enough for me to be trying to hook that up, and then have the one game. And I'm definitely not flipping back and forth. Right. So it'll be what game is more interesting type of thing that I'll have the volume on. So.
Right. And I've noticed early in the series between the Sixers and the Wizards that I think a couple of their games was on NBA TV. But
one of them was.
The good thing about around here. What's that?
It irritated the shit out of me because I couldn't find the game. I had to. I ended up watching it, but I had to, had to pull some strings to get it going.
Oh, so you don't have what they call that, NBC Sports.
In
So
Madison
you don't have that
or
either?
whatever them. I don't think I do. But I will acknowledge that I haven't gone looking for it. So, but I don't think I do.
Got you. Because I was gonna say the good thing about that in this area is that you could watch the local Wizards broadcast.
Local games, yeah. Maybe I do.
On
But
channel.
maybe I do. But I'll admit I didn't look. I just bootlegged it in short.
Got you. Want to send a special shout out to everybody in the Facebook live chat. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the support. Make sure y'all continue to follow us on Facebook. Click the like button on the page. Also, check us out on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Don't forget also we got the YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe there. And if you got any questions or comments about the show, you could email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So that's it for the show. Maestro, if you got nothing else, man, I'm good to go. About to get some more food, watch these games, and live life, man.
All right, boy.
All right, homie. Y'all enjoy the rest of the week. We'll be back next week. Peace out.
Love.